Alright, well, it's that time of the month again where I do a third sacrifice discussion video. This is the spreadsheet that was given to us about a month ago now, and I did do a video on this right when it came out, but since then it has had a lot of updates and a lot of changes. Like as you can see here, there are a lot of things yellow and all that stuff, and I'll get to what all the colours and that mean in a second. But I just want to quickly go over the spreadsheet. On the screen, I'm showing you what every colour means, and if you want to read that, you can pause if you want to. But apparently, red items have their thing in that they have their replacement above the brackets, as you can see here with the floodlight wall. I actually quite like the sound of that. That's nice. But I'm just going to go through some of these. I'm just going to scroll down, letting you have a look at some of the items that are being remade in that. I'm not going to go over them because there are so many of them, and I've already gone over a majority of them. There are some items that are getting big reworks like this here, like anything that's in this big red bulging text. All the infusers are there. All the infusers are being remade and replaced to essentially prepare us for the PvP update, which is coming after Third Sacrifice, which is the next major update after Third Sacrifice. So, also I just want to quickly note, anything you see in like the dark black, it's not like the grey black, the black, not this, but down here, this is dark, this is quite black, or well, dark, really dark grey. But these shop items are being removed from the game for the first few weeks or so of Third Sacrifice, and then they're going to be added later on. So I'm guessing they're going to be receiving remodels or reworks or something, and that's why they're not putting them in. But don't expect these to stay out of the game forever. I would be surprised if they left all Steamer and Satellite Beam out, but you know. And to help with this, because these items are being removed, anything that was life locked originally, so like all zappers were like when they like 400 or something, anything that was life locked essentially will no longer be life locked. So you'll be able to use industrial all welders and all zappers and all that stuff on life 1, which is what it used to be like. We have received pictures of new items and new additions. That a lot of these are new items, like the Green Giant. This is a replacement for Clover Shrine and that. But we have seen some pictures of items that are being added, like Foster Genetrix, or Genetrix. I can't really pronounce it, but we've got a picture of it. Obviously, you got the new shinies, which are later down here. As you can see here, another Marbucket submission is being replaced because he did something naughty. Don't know what, but he did something naughty. If you want to go have a look at this instead of watching this video, you can just go on the spreadsheet and then just have a look at some of the items. But I am going to be talking about some things that weren't put on this spreadsheet, like weather and changes to exotics and vintages and the map, the new map, and changes to the maps and NPCs and stuff. So I'm going to leave the link to the spreadsheet in the description if you want to go have a look at it. But I'm just going to scour over these so it doesn't take as long. Presents are gaining their own tier instead of being exotic, which hopefully will make the inventory of exotics a lot clearer. So when you set up exotic, you don't have like a million presents just sitting there. One thing that I did actually notice, which was Stratospheric Refiner being replaced, and I wanted to quickly say, apparently, according to what Foxy wants, may not happen, but what Foxy wants, he wants all hydraulic items, like Stratospheric Refiner and hydraulic conveyors and stuff, to have like a small border on the bottom, so you can't use it as like a boosting roof sort of thing, like you could with Stratospheric Refiner, if you know how that worked. Hydraulic platforms are being removed, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So, I mean, make of that what you will. I don't know why we need a 3D Doge, but we do. Rainbow Path Giver is being replaced, all that stuff. Yeah. There are also a bunch of new contrabands, which we'll get to in a minute, that I'm really looking forward to. One makes a mine of your choosing, a remote-based mine, which is nice. So you can make Garcore a remote mine, which would honestly be sick. I just want to quickly say, because some of you may be a bit annoyed by this, but reversions are being set back an update. This is to help get Third Sacrifice released, and it's also allowing us to get Third Sacrifice a lot sooner, like I said. But we're not going to be able to craft reversions until like 1 or 2 updates after Third Sacrifice. But to compensate for that, I'm guessing we'll probably end up getting even more reversions, which is nice. So the reversions that are currently on here, which we'll get to in a second if you haven't already looked at the spreadsheet, which I did do a video on, they're all going to stay in the game and they're all going to be in the list of like the update board, but it's going to you're not going to be able to obtain them. As you can see here, you've got the Renegades and stuff like that. Renegades are being added, which is really interesting. Every 3,000 lives or a challenge or something, you'll be getting them. But yeah, so reversions aren't going to be coming in Third Sacrifice straight away, which is a shame, but it's also not a shame. So a lot of the unfinished things about Third Sacrifice were revolving around reversions. So specifically like the crafting of reversions that wasn't done, and certain things like that. All the stats and that were there, I'm pretty sure, but the way you got them wasn't done, and it was going to be quite awkward for them to do, so they just cut it and wait, and they're going to wait. Now, one thing I want to quickly note is that we're only going to be getting one Forsakened for Third Sacrifice. If you don't know what a Forsakened item is, it's basically Third Sacrifice's version of a superstitious item that's Third Sacrifice locked, obviously. But I thought we were going to get more than just one, and I thought that Foxy putting one here was a mistake, and he was supposed to have put more. So I actually went to the Discord and said, "Is there only supposed to be one?" And he corrected. I was corrected and said that there was only supposed to be one. So I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but Forbidden Knowledge is essentially the Forsaken version of the Book of Knowledge, which is pretty cool. I'm guessing it'll be a lot stronger than the Book of Knowledge, but you know, I honestly thought that this was actually the Forbidden Tome, just the names changed slightly, but no, that's not the case. As you can see here, Pandora's Box is being turned into Advanced Reborn. Again, if you didn't see my other spreadsheet video, I do suggest doing that, because there was a lot that I covered there. I'm not going to be going over it again, like completely. So if you want to see like a full like in-depth on this entire spreadsheet, then you can go have a look at that. It is quite a long video, which is one of the downsides to it, but you know. Now here we have Excelsis. Now if you don't know, Excelsis will bless your ore with the warrior spirit, making it so that when an ore is supposed to have died, it doesn't die, but instead gets processed at one time. So basically being processed in a basic furnace, which stops it from losing its value and losing your ore if it dies. Is it if it dies or if it goes on the base? I can't remember now. I think it's if it's destroyed. And you'll have to complete the Trial of Will challenge at life Z-100. And if you don't know, Z- is Third Sacrifice's symbol. Each sacrifice has had a symbol: S-, S+, and now Z-. So maybe Z+. No, I'm joking. There's not going to be a Z+. Who am I thinking? What am I thinking, mate? But to also talk, also on the topic of Excelsis and the sacrifice item, the Statue of Finality is the statue of the final upgrader, and you'll be able to use this and the statue of the first sacrifice. I can't remember what the name of it, the statue of the ultimate sacrifice or something. But you'll be able to use both of them and craft final versions of them that will also boost the power of Excelsis, which is pretty cool. But they aren't coming into third sacrifice straight away. You won't be able to craft them straight away. Those of you who are wondering how you will be getting your items back from third sacrifice, the items that are being held in escrow, like your limited boxes, your exotics, your is it your shinies? I think your shinies. Well, yeah, technically your shinies. But they're held in escrow on every sacrifice, and every sacrifice you've had. The way you've gotten them back is by getting to a certain life or completing something or doing something. I think the first sacrifice you had to get to life 10, and then the second one you had to get to life 100. This one is going to be a lot harder. A lot harder to get your stuff back. You're going to have to complete the Grimstruck challenge. Now, if you don't know what that is, I've already talked about it, I think about 2 or 3 times now. But it's a challenge with a advanced reborn mine, third sacrifice exclusive, that will make it so no walls work, only coal, and you can't duplicate it, you can't replicate it, and it's worth 1, and it will lock everything and do loads of stuff. So essentially you have to complete the Grimstruck challenge in order to get your stuff out of escrow, but also by completing it, not only will you get your stuff back from escrow, but you'll also get the Butez Void. I don't know what that is, some sort of upgrader, an ultimate upgrader, which I'm guessing will probably be quite good. Now, speaking of challenges, as you can see here, pretty much all of these items that are ultimate are challenge related items. Like it says here, complete the Godslayer challenge and complete the Grimstruck challenge, and all these items are, well, a majority of these items are challenge items. And challenge items are going to be, well, not challenge items, but the challenges themselves are going to be reworked. Whereas before, you could just get a certain amount of money, like the DD challenge. You could just get DD and then reborn, and you get it. And then you can only get one once a day. But this time in third sacrifice, you're going to have to go to a certain page or menu to activate a specific challenge. And whether or not they have life locks, I don't know yet. They probably will, but you'll have to activate it. Once you activate it, your base will be withdrawn. Your money will be reset to 500 or 50 or however much it is. Your layouts will be locked, so you'll have to make your own setup, and you'll have to get from 500 to whatever it is. And a lot of the challenges are very different. Like Grimstruck, you have to use a specific mine. I believe the Tartarus event, or the Tartarus challenge, is going to set half your base on fire, so you can only use a certain amount of your base, even if you have the base expansions. Which changes to the base expansions are being made, so I'll talk about them in a minute. But anyway, if you don't know, Tartarus and Darkseed are 2 brand new private islands that are being added, along with private island challenges. Some of these items, like here, are private island exclusive, so you'll have to go onto certain islands to get them. And I think the executive one, Darkseed, and Mars, those 3, the challenge items and the challenges won't count towards mastery. So if you want to get that mastery exclusive item, then you don't have to do that. It won't count towards like exotics and stuff. Anyway, each private island is going to be receiving a challenge, and the normal private island is going to stay with Tropical Breeze, I believe. But every other one will be receiving their own specific challenge, and they'll all be unique. These crowns here, if you don't know, are, well, the Crown of Joy was given to you by Daigle in the Heart of the Void. If you haven't been done that yet, that's what you need to do in order to be able to perform the third sacrifice. But these crowns will be given to you, like it says here, your first sacrifice, second sacrifice, go to the Heart of the Void, and then the third sacrifice. And these apparently are going to be used to defeat Solemn. I don't know exactly how, I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but they're decoration items, they're not upgraders, they're nothing special, it's literally just about the story and probably eventually an update, but they're being added now. Here you can see the true versions of the final upgrade and the ultimate sacrifice. They don't show any stats. They are both resetters, but they both do different things, and you can't use them together. Both of these are resetters. The Excelsis isn't, and in Third Sacrifice there'll only be, well, when Third Sacrifice comes out, there'll only be 2 Teslas: the Black Dwarf, or the Void Star, and the Teslas. So you'll only be able to use 2 resetters, whereas once these true versions of the original sacrifices come out, you'll then be able to use 3. So if you're thinking Daystrophy will work, Daystrophy is becoming it's not going to be a resetter, which I'm quite surprised by. And to those of you who have that incredibly rare present with the 3 question marks, that'll be openable in Third Sacrifice, and the item is actually on this spreadsheet. There is an item in the game known as a Eustrialis Fornacem, and it's a decimal rarity reborn that has no use. In Third Sacrifice, not only will it be getting a use, but it'll also be getting 3 counterparts to it. I think it's Eustrialis for Venenum, Rosea, and Ignis. And if you combine them all together, if you place them all in certain places, it will create a massive furnace that will work like a normal furnace, but it will be incredibly strong. It will be one of the strongest furnaces in the game, which I'm actually really looking forward to this. I'd love to get the shiny version of this. They also talked about blueprint reworks. They're reworking the blueprint system, so when you want to craft an item, say you want to craft a Void Star, usually you have to buy the blueprint and then you can craft as many as you want. Whereas now you'll have to buy the blueprint every single time you want to craft one, which is annoying. They may change the prices of the RP items or the blueprints. Don't know whether or not they will. They might. But to help with this, they're adding a bunch of new RP items to the game that will help you in your process of getting RP. This will also help you with getting RP at a low life as well. As here with all the mines and the metallurgical refiner and infuser. Okay, well then. Now, to those of you who own lots of exotics, and specifically the rare exotics like Spigmaster, which I own, and like the Haunted Infuser and stuff like that, they will have their own separate tier known as Legacy Exotics that will, anytime something is put in there, it means that they will never be obtainable again, or well, most likely never obtainable again, and will be locked, essentially. So the items that are already in there are obviously the 2015 exotics, or Tixicator and Beehive. But then in Third Sacrifice they plan on putting Excalibur in there, and they're talking about putting Wubian Mine in there as well, which I'm quite surprised they're putting Wubian Mine in there, considering Volcango isn't going in there. I don't see why they would put Wubian Mine in there if Volcango didn't go in there, because they both came out at the same time. I remember when they came out. I was playing the day it came out. Speaking about exotics, sorry again for this thing, but speaking about exotics, Twitch boxes may be returning. However, they're not if they do return, they won't be coming back with the original Twitch exotics, so Kappa Investor and Twitch I Mine, which I'm kind of annoyed. I'm a pretty big exotic collector. I try and get as many exotics as I can, and the amount of times I've gotten Twitch boxes and Twitch coins opened boxes and tried to get Twitchite mine and haven't got it. I've got 2 Kappa investors. No, that's fine. I've got Kappa investors. Twitchite mine I don't have, of course, because why wouldn't I? But I'm quite a hardcore exotic collector. I don't know why, but I just like having a big collection of exotics. It just makes me feel cool. Not that I am cool, but you know, there is that. Also, from the pictures that we have seen, the new map is it looks massive and is gonna have a lot more in store for it. Along with that, they're also changing the way you enter the Sporus. There's going to be a little hut somewhere, and NPCs that are around the map. So, Fargild, the box geezer, the guy that sells the boxes, and I also maybe the craftsman or something like that. They will start to walk around the map. Not to an extent that you think maybe. Like if the craftsman were to move, it would probably only go round in his tower, and then obviously box guy in his little box shop. But Fargild is going to go across map. He's going to go everywhere, and apparently they're thinking about making it so he goes to your base and just stands there being an annoyance. Which, if they do that, I might end up having to quit Miners Haven, because that will just pee me off. Now obviously with the new map we're receiving weather, the new lighting, the new, future is bright lighting, smooth terrain obviously, and new 3D clouds that will just move around the map instead of it being a skybox, if you don't know that. So the weather, I've already talked about this but I'll go over it again. Each weather effect will have a different effect on your base. So when it's raining, it will make your ores wet, and when it's storming outside, it will cause all your powered related items like lightning bolt refiner and whatever, arcane lightning, to power itself. But you can negate this with the weather machine, which is on this list somewhere. I can't remember where. I'm really looking forward to the weather system. Surprisingly enough, I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't know why, but I am. Now, we actually have some news regarding certain collectible items and things like that for when you perform the third sacrifice. And this is actually quite helpful. So, any executive related items, premium, dark Knight Game Pass and Swordmaster and that, those items that you have there, like they're pretty much all Game Pass items, you will keep when you third sack. So they won't be going in escrow. You're going to keep them, and you're going to be able to use them in third sack, which I find really cool. I find really good because it gives people that buy specifically executive. It gives people that buy executive a boost, because executive is so expensive. Of course I bought it because I'm a stupid idiot, but you know, there's that. I talked earlier about infusers being overhauled, ready for the PvP update. They're not the only things that are being overhauled. All the weapons are being redesigned and remade. The gunplay and the weapons, the way you fight with them, they're all being remade. And they're being some of the items are being nerfed, like the Centillion sword. That's going to be heavily nerfed, and the Darkest Infusion sword will be nerfed as well, or whatever it is. I can't remember what it is. The Lord of Tenebris sword, that's being nerfed because it can one-shot. Basically, anything that can one-shot is being nerfed. Foxy has talked about making base permissions locked to life 100. Not like S minus 100, S plus 100, just the basic 100. So new players get the chance to learn the game before they just get their mates to come on and help them. This may cause some issues. Well, not really, but sort of, because there is a item that is obtained through helping someone get their first life. And that's the Statue of Knowledge, which is actually used to craft a Superstitious. Also, apparently, we're going to be receiving a new cash suffix known as Hex, which is basically the next level of money. Instead of you getting Centillions and then going up from Centillions to like Centillion Bididion, Instead, you will then go from centillions to hex, which is a new cache suffix that's being added that will basically allow for increased cache suffix limits, which they're doing. Every single one of the superstitious and forsaken items are going to be unresettable. So things like Merlin sorcery, that's unresettable. You can only use it once. This also means that they will also be receiving big buffs. Third sacrifice is going to be necessary if you want to obtain this these certain items. New items, obviously. Forsaken tier superstitious, renegades, reversions, and possible. Was it renegade fusions or reversion fusions? One of them. Something that I know a lot of you will not like is the fact that base expansions are now going to be locked behind a in-game paywall. If you don't know what that means, basically you're going to have to pay a certain amount of shards to be able to purchase the base expansions that you should be acquiring. So when you sacrifice, your base expansions will be reset, so you will have the smallest base, and then eventually when you get enough shards, you will then be able to purchase the extended base, and then you can do it again, and then again, and then again, and then again, because third sacrifices are adding yet another base expansion, which is increasing the base size a lot. And I believe the last thing that I need to cover is the most hyped up thing for third sacrifice. I feel will probably be the fact that we'll be able to customize our keybinds when it comes out. No, this does not mean that there is going to be a rebirth hotkey, because a lot of you want that, and no, you're not going to get it because, well, that just ruined the point of third sacrifice being hard. I hope you guys enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I hope you're just excited as I am for third sacrifice. And those of you who are still awaiting a third sacrifice release date, I physically can't give you one because we don't know of the release date yet, but you can get my prediction and estimate, which is obviously summer, because that'll probably be the perfect time for them to release a massive update. Everyone's off school, everyone's off, well, not off work, but off school. Everyone can just go on their devices and then just bash out Miners Haven through the summer, which should be like, that'd be exactly how I used to spend my summers. So back in like 2017, 2018, my summer back then was all just Miners Haven. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.